Hello everyone. In this tutorial, we learn functions in Python with the help of examples. A function is a block of organized, reusable code that is used to perform a single related action. Functions provide better modularity for your application and a high degree of code reusing. As you already know, Python gives you many built-in functions like print, etc. But you can also create your own functions. These functions are called user-defined functions. Defining a function. You can define functions to provide the required functionality. Here are simple rules to define a functions in Python. Function blocks begin with the keyword def, followed by the function name and parentheses. Any input parameters or arguments should be placed within these parentheses. You can also define parameters inside these parentheses. The first statement of function can be an optional statement. The documentation string of the function or docstring. The code block within every function starts with a colon and is indented. The statement return expression exists a function, optionally passing back an expression to the caller. A return statement with no arguments is the same as return none. And here's the syntax for the function. I can see that first we need to def function name, then parameters, then function docstring, function suite, return, then we'll write an expression. By default, parameters have a positional behavior and you need to inform them in the same order that they were defined. Let's take a look with an example. Okay, let's get into the Jupyter, and these examples take a string and input parameter and prints it on standard screen, right? Let's check out the functions. Def, the function starts with def, right? Print me str. This is the function. This prints a passed string into this function. Print str. And next, return. Here, calling a function. Defining a function gives it a name, specifies specifies the parameters that are to be included in the function, and structures the blocks of code. Once the basic structure of a function is finalized, you can execute it by calling it from another function or directly from the Python prompt. Now, with this example on the screen, what you can see is we have defined a print me str function, right? This prints a passed string into this function. Then what we have print string and return. Now you can call print me function. I will, now you can call print me function. Now print me. And I got another print me. Right, now I'll execute this. Now you can see that the function was being called print me function. This function, what we have created here, we are calling that function directly to execute this. The output, this is the first function for the print me first, and the second was second. Now, let's take a look at pass by reference versus value. All parameters arguments in the Python language are passed by reference. It means if you change what a parameter refers to within a function, the change also reflects back in the calling function. For example, you can see on the screen that function definition is here. Def change me, my list. This changes a past list into the function. Print values inside the function before change. That my list. My list is equal to 50. Print values. My list returned. Now you can call change me function. Change me my list. The output will be values inside the function. Values inside the function before change, that is 10, 20, 30. Values inside the function after change, 10, 20, 50. Values outside the function, 10, 20, 50. Now we'll take a look at this example in Jupyter Note. Let's try this example. Right, here we have function definition. Def change me my list. Right, this changes a past list into this function. Now print values inside the function before change my list. Right, now my my list. Let's execute this and see what will happen. So we have created the function definition. Now I'll call the my list function, and at the index 2 I'll add 50. At the index 2 I'll add, right, 50. Then I'll print values inside the function after change. Yes, my list. Now I'll return. Oh, sorry, I forgot to define the mylist function here. Directly I was trying to execute that. Mylist is equal to 10 comma 20 comma 30. Then change me is mylist print values outside the function is mylist. Now you can see here that inside the function before change is this, and now let's see what will happen after the change. The list, the index 2, I'm changing the index 2 to 50, right? And I'm calling the my list. See here, it's written. Sorry, you don't need it written here. Now you can see the value inside the function after changes 10, 20, 40. It was before 10, 20, and 30, right? Now functions arguments. You can call a function by using the following types of formal arguments: required argument, keyword arguments, default arguments, and variable length arguments. Required argument. Let's discuss some required argument. Required arguments are the arguments passed to a function in collection passed to a function in correct positional order. Here the number of arguments in the function call should match exactly with the function definition. To call the function print me, you definitely need to pass one argument, otherwise it gives a syntax error, right? Let's take a look at this example and see what error we are getting for this print me missing argument string. So we need to check the error type in this example. Let's go back to our Jupyter Note and check the example. Now function definition def print is str. This prints a passed string into this function. Print str, then return. Execute this. Now this is the function what we have created. Now what? Now you can call print me function and look for the output. Print me. Now missing one required positional argument str, because we have print me with str. What it says, to call the function print me, you definitely need to pass one argument, otherwise it gives syntax error. So you can see that the syntax error is print me missing required positional arguments, right? Okay, required. Next, keyword arguments. Keyword arguments are related to the function calls. when you use keyword arguments in a function call. The caller identifies the arguments by the parameter name. This allows you to skip arguments or place them out of order because the Python interpreter is able to use the keywords provided to match the values with parameters. You can also make keywords call to the printme function. Let's check out the example what is displaying on the screen. We have Okay, let's do one thing. Let's go back to the Jupyter node and check out this example so that you guys can understand easily. All right, let's go to function definition. Def print info, that is name, comma, age. This prints a past info into this function. Now print name is equal to, let's type Amer, print age is equal to, let's get it to 40, and all right, instead of here I'll enter the name, and here is age, and next return. Now a function has been created. Now we'll call, now you can call print info function. The function has created and you can call. Now I'm going to call the print info function with parameters. The parameters what I'm giving is age is equal to 40 and name is somewhere. Right. Let's try to execute this and we might get the proper result. Let's see the output. Here, you can see it here. So we got the name value as Amer and age as 40. So now we'll go back to default arguments. What is a default argument, right? A default argument is an argument that assumes a default value if a value is not provided in the function call for that argument. The example provided gives an idea on default argument. It prints default age if it is not passed. Like in our last example, what we have checked with keywords argument, that we have provided the keywords in default arguments. Let's see what will happen if we provide the arguments. Let's go back to Jupyter Note and let's try this. Okay, let's create a print info. Uh, right, function definition. Def print info name, comma, age is equal to, let's take it 40, and at the end this prints a past info into this function. Print name is equal to name. Print age is equal to age written. Now we have created the function. Let's call the function. Now you can call print info function. Print info age is equal to 50, comma name is equal to Ahmed. Sorry, we'll take age is equal to 35 and name is equal to Ahmed. Let's execute this and see what will happen. So now we have age is equal to Amir, sorry, name is equal to Amir, age is equal to 35. Now I'll execute one more here, print info. So rather than taking age, I'll directly take name is equal to, again I'll type Amir. Let's see what will happen. Now here we have Amir age 35. The reason why is that first line I have given the age as well as the name. In the second argument, I haven't given the age, but I have given the name. Age has taken from the function, right? This is default argument. The default function, default argument, what we have given for the age is 40. So it prints the age as a default as a 40, right? Okay, let's move on to variable length arguments. Okay, variable length arguments. You may need to process a function for more arguments than you specified while defining the function. These arguments are called variable length arguments and are not named in the function definition, unlike required and default arguments. Now let's see the syntax for the variable length definition. Definition function name, formal arguments, where argument tuple, then function docstrings, function suite, then return expression. And asterisk star is placed before the variable name that holds the values of all non-keyword variable arguments. This tuple remains empty if no additional arguments are specified during the function call. Let's take a look at this example in Jupyter Notebook. Let's try this. Go back to Jupyter Note and see this example. Now, function definition. Ref print info arg1 gamma star va r tuple. Okay, this prints the first arguments. Print output is, this is gonna print, and next print it's gonna print argument 1 arg arg, right? Then for where in where tuple print where written. let's execute this. So we have created the function. Now now you can call print info function. Print info is 10. Let's see, let's try print info. Another one is 70 comma 60 comma 50. Let's execute this and check out the output. We have output is, for the first one is 10 and the second one is 70. So we don't need to write the code again and again, so we can use the function directly and use it directly here. So this function is reusable. We can use the function n number of times. Hope this is clear for you guys. Okay, let's scope of variables. All variables in a program may not be accessible at all locations in that program. This depends on where you have declared a variable. The scope of a variable determines the portion of the program where you can access a particular identifier. There are two basic scopes of variables in Python. One is global variable, the second one is local variable. So let's look into global versus local variable. Variable that are defined inside a function body have a local scope, and those identified outside have a global scope. It's simple as that. Inside the function body have a local scope. Outside the function body is a global. Something like inside your country is local, outside your country is global. This means that local variables can be accessed only inside the function in which they are declared, whereas global variables can be accessed throughout the program body by all functions. When you call a function, the variables declared inside it are brought into scope. Now take a look at an example. Let's see. Let's check this out. This example. This is a global variable. Total is equal to 0 is a global variable. Function definition is def sum argument 1, argument 2. Add both the parameters and return them. Total is equal to argument 1 plus argument 2. So then sum is equal to 10 comma 20. Print inside the function total is 30 because it's adding argument 1 plus argument 2. Outside the function total is 0 because there is no outside the function. Right. Let's take a look in Jupyter. Alright. Total is equal to 0. This is variable. Function definition. If sum arg1 comma arg2, add both the return them. Now total is equal to arg1 plus arg2, or this arg1 arg2. Total is local print inside the function local total is total. Now return total. So here I missed the print. Let's execute this code and see whether the function is correct or not. Right, the function is correct. Now we call the function. We call the function. Some argument 1 and argument 2. Argument 1 is 10 and argument 2 is 20. Let's print outside the function global total is total. Let's execute this. Inside the function local total is 30. Inside the function what we have is argument 1 plus argument 2. Outside the function print is total is 0 because the outside the function is total 0. Is that clear? Right. Let's move on to the end of the session. So I'm sure you guys had enjoyed this session. If you have any doubts, feel free to mail me. And the more you practice, the more you understand. And in our next section, we are going to talk about built-in functions. Built-in functions is going to be 5, 6 sessions. We are going to discuss on built-in functions. So let's have a look in our next session. Thank you. Take care, guys. Bye.